Now, when you think about it, this tidal wave of investment into data and big data capabilities is really concentrated in the past decade, maybe 2 decades, depending upon the industry and the organization. But it's really a relatively recent phenomenon. And prior to this, organizations had data, but just much less of it. We didn't have the torrents of online data from event logs, device logs, traffic data, all the above, right? So we were dealing just a much more limited pool of data. Companies invested heavily in the last 2 decades. A lot of this investment was FOMO, fear of missing out, as companies and executives saw other organizations making big bets and a lot of press headlines about investments in data, and then they wanted to follow suit. So on one side, we had FOMO investing, and a lot of it, not necessarily strategic, but maybe a very low resolution. Oh, if we have data, we can do what these kind of companies do, make better decisions. On the other side of this circuit, we have something that is fundamentally unmeasurable. And it's ironic that data impact is unmeasurable, but it is. How can we measure it? When we invest in data, we're fundamentally trying to improve decisioning capabilities, trying to get smarter. Whether it's data that a human is using to make decisions or it's going into some AI model to make the model smarter. This is our objective, is to try to get smarter, try to make our business smarter. So how exactly would we measure that impact? We really can't. We don't have any tools to measure this. We could technically turn off, isolate different parts of the organization or different decisions at random from data. It's not quite practical. So here we have the full circuit. A lot of it is FOMO investing. It's a very low resolution sense of what we want to do with the data we're building, the capabilities we're targeting, developing. On the other side, we have something that's unmeasurable. And the result of this has been very bloated investment into data science, analytics, large teams that cost millions of dollars, tools and licenses that cost a ton, computation that costs a ton, spending a lot of money, but it's unclear where that payoff is. To be clear, there is a payoff for some companies, but we just don't really know which companies have benefited from data and which have not. There could be something confounding in this investment, perhaps the ability to think analytically, to really apply human intelligence to data. That could be the differentiating factor, but we just don't know. There are undoubtedly many organizations that have invested in data that have not yielded any value. It's just a cost center. I see this a lot in my work. I go into organizations that have been spending, but we don't know how to answer simple questions even, or we don't know which questions to even ask. The result of this is going to be consolidation. It's already begun. Data science analytics teams are definitely getting smaller. These budgets are definitely shrinking. Yet I think for some companies, these shrinking budgets might result in less analytical output, less data science output, but higher value incrementally if we're more focused and targeted with what we build.